What's up, everybody? We're back for another free-to-play friendly guide, and today I'm going to be showing you some free-to-play options on how to get through Grythion on floor 90 of the hard Doom Tower and the normal Doom Tower. So this is a strategy that I used to help me get my first clears through normal Doom Tower, and it essentially boils down to Apothecary is really strong and he can solo Gryphon. Providing you have him in a decent build, his crit heal basically heals him to full every time he uses it on himself. So you're going to want to build him with enough resistance to resist the healing reduction that the Grythion puts out. On floor 90 normal, Grythion has 190 speed, 100 resistance, and 100 accuracy. So you're going to want at least 200 resistance to make it semi-consistent. And other than that, you're just building for tank stats, so hit points, defense, and with his crit heal, you're definitely going to want to build crit rate onto this Apothecary. So I'll slow it down for a second here. This Apothecary has around 46,000 hit points. And you'll notice when he heals himself, almost 35,500. So it's basically like a full hit points heal every time he uses it on himself, if it crits. And the Grythion being Spirit Affinity, he has a chance to weak hit Apothecary fairly often. You see those weak hits there? Which means Apothecary can basically infinitely sustain himself even when Grythion is at 20 stacks. So you just build him decently fast, 200 plus resist, a little bit more is better but not necessary, and as much tank stats as possible with crit rate in his build. Coffin Smasher is just here for a little bit of extra damage. My Apothecary has been rebuilt to go after some of the hard Doom Tower bosses. So he's no longer in Giant Slayer, but in early game you'll probably build your Apothecary with Giant Slayer, in which case that should be enough damage to eventually take down Gryphon before you hit the turn count. So that's the strategy I used to get through Gryphon the first couple of times on this account. I'll show you the gear on these two, just so you have some idea of what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is Coffin Smasher. He's just built in Regen and Immortal. I'm trying to use him to clear Iragoth 120 hard. So this is some of my... well, I guess not my best gear, but some decent gear on him. You can see how high his accuracy is for Iragoth 120. He's not necessary for this strat. You're basically just looking at Apothecary, and his resistance is built for Iragoth 120 as well. He doesn't need any accuracy on his build. My crit rate isn't quite capped because I recently switched him from crit rate gloves to defense gloves. I got this nice triple crit rate roll. But these stats are way overkill for soloing Gryphon 90. You can get by with a lot less. But HP chest, defense gloves, or crit rate gloves if you don't have enough crit rate rolls. And then Relentless is typically the set I put on Apothecary in the early game, and I rarely find a need to switch him out of it. You could go with Toxic Set for some extra damage, which would also allow you to solo Scarab on normal. So that's an option. Resistance Banner, as much hit points and speed as you can find. He's not in amazing gear, but it does the job. So now I'm going to show you the hard Doom Tower. And this is the team you can use to get through Gryphon 90 on hard. I did have to waste some of my silver regearing Scyl, I tried to minimize the amount of gear I'd have to swap out because I hate spending silver switching gear around. But to make these guides, I'm going to have to spend or waste quite a lot of silver. So if you find this content helpful, or if you just want to pay respect to the silver that we wasted, why don't you scroll down, like the video, subscribe, and I'll be putting out a lot more of these guides handling Doom Tower bosses and other areas of the game on free-to-play champions. So the theory behind this team is Scyl is very difficult to kill for the Gryphon because it's spirit affinity. So she's going to get weak hit a lot. She has her 10% max heal every time she takes a turn, but I've also put her in a regen set. So she gets another 15% on top of that. So if you see every turn she's taking, she's getting around, I don't know, like 15, 16,000 hit points back. And then Drexthar is just here to apply his HP burn and die. So I'll show you when we get to the boss, but he's basically gonna tank for as long as possible, apply HP burn. They both have Brimstone as well, which if you're using this strategy, I'd highly recommend you get Brimstone on both these champs. It's going to cut down the amount of time you have to fight the Gryphon, so it'll make the run a little bit more consistent. You can get unlucky and not get any weak hits and end up with Scyl dying pretty easily on this fight, unless you just have like really, really good gear. So you can see they handle the waves very well. Scyl stuns, Drexthar provokes, HP burns go out. Now the Gryphon on 90 hard has 250 speed and 330 resistance, 250 accuracy. So you're looking at, if you want to land debuffs, like Drexthar's HP burn, you're going to want at least 300 accuracy to get a 70% chance. But realistically, you'll probably be up to around 350 accuracy for a 95% chance. And Drex has the accuracy aura, so it's not a big deal. And then in terms of resistance, if you want to resist the healing, the heal reduction debuff, you're going to want, well, a 400 plus resistance. That gives him a little bit less than 5% chance to land the debuff on you. So there's nothing special in Drex's build. I have him in the same lifesteal setup that I've used him in pretty much all game. But you'll see he doesn't have resistance, so he's taking debuffs. And you just want to set up your AI so they spam their A1s. Scyl has a chance to decrease the turn meter and also apply a slow speed, which is really nice. Drexthar has Giant Slayer for a chance to do a little bit of extra damage. You see those Brimstone procs. This used to be a way less reliable strategy for this boss, but ever since Brimstone, if you've got it on these champions, it chunks the boss out huge. So we're closing in on 10 stacks here. The Gryphon hasn't quite powered up fully yet. But hopefully we don't kill him before he gets to 20 stacks. So you can see when we actually get crit and no weak hit. Yeah, this is unfortunate. We actually killed him too fast. I'm gonna pause and come back and show you show you how Scyl tanks when he gets to 20 stacks, I guess. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I've put Scyl in solo because I was just killing it too fast with Drexthar. So you'll be able to see here, her regen is bringing her up a little bit of hit points. Her increased speed helps her to keep up with the Gryphon because I don't have her built very fast. Now I might die here, depending on my luck. But you see the weak hits, 5,000. There was a crit, not quite as good there. Okay. Well, I died, but anyway, Scyl can mostly tank it out in a regen build. I don't have her built the best for this fight. I'll show you the gear on these two. So I just have her in a regen and perception set. Focused on as much speed, hit points, and resistance as I could get. If you want this to be a consistent fight, you do need to bring Drexthar. And again, having level 1 Brimstone on them will make it so you can actually just auto-farm Gryphon. These are her masteries. I have her built this way for wave content. So it's just the way I like to build Scyl. You can go for Unshakable if you are having trouble hitting the resistance thresholds. And then, of course, you don't need accuracy for this fight, so you can replace this with an Immortal set, which will give her more hit points and more heals every time she takes a turn. Just got her in a random resistance banner, hit points, defense, wherever you can get it. Because of the set effect with regen and her passive, you can go a little bit less on defense because the Gryphon's going to ignore it anyway once he gets to 20 stacks. And just go straight hit points, and that'll help you survive longer. The speed, I would love for the speed to be higher, but this is just what I ended up with. And I don't want to waste any more silver just re-gearing these champs when it works with just the two of these guys. This is my Drexthar build. He's running quite a bit faster, more accuracy because I use him for Frostbiter as well. He's booked out, level 1 Brimstone. And these are his masteries, just Giant Slayer, typical offense build with some defensive stats. Blast Proof helps soak some damage as well as delay death. If you're not going to use a cheese build like this for Gryphon, you're going to want to bring champions that can either kill it quickly, so like ally attack and a lot of single target heavy hitters, champs like Ninja or Turvold, things that are going to hit it really hard with their A1s. Champs like Duchess, if you have it, for the block debuffs and all the protection and revives. Champs that bring decreased attack, so anyone with decreased attack on A1. Venom Age can work, but you end up putting out a bunch of debuffs that get reflected onto you, which isn't ideal. Block damage is also pretty good until the Gryphon gets up in its stacks, and then it starts ignoring block damage. But honestly, these two aren't very hard to build. Save up your resources and look for them in the shop to get their level 1 awakening as soon as you can, because they'll carry you through basically all of the hard Doom Tower. And I think that's about it. So, yeah, just real quick, I'll show you how you would set this up if you wanted to auto farm with these two. So you'd throw in Drex and Scyl. You would go to round 3. Don't use his A2. Don't use her A2. And that should be an auto farm. So I've got one more key. I'm just going to run this on auto. And we'll see if it clears it. Alright, so we're full auto. I do have my AI set how I just showed you. You do need, bringing Drexthar really speeds up the run as well as the Brimstones. if Drexthar ever goes down in this fight, if he dies, you want to revive him right before the Gryphon's about to use Death Gust. Because when Scyl revives Drexthar, she puts an ally protection on him. And if that ally protect is on and he gets smacked, it's basically going to wipe out Syl's hit points as well. So if you revive him right before this move, Gryphon will remove the ally protection first, which means Scyl won't take a bunch of damage from him getting hit. Okay, so I guess he doesn't ignore defense with his Skybond. But he will ignore shield block damage and unkillable once he's up to 10. So yeah, this team just kills it too fast before we get to the 20 stacks. Maybe we'll get to see Drexthar die here. No, not quite. So yeah, that's the two-man team. Easy auto farm on Gryphon. It's actually almost as fast as my regular farm team, which is kind of funny. Same turn count. Maybe I'll just start using these guys and somebody to clear the waves and see how that goes. So yeah, that's the guide. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below. If there's other ways that you've found to clear it or better gear sets you think I could use. But thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.